It's very clear to see that Dr. Phil hates doing what he's doing. Today I'm going to cover 7 reasons why Dr. Phil hates his job. Welcome back to Enchant Films, let's get into the video. Number 7, the crazies he has to deal with. Dr. Phil's show is no stranger to some very peculiar people, not all of whom have the slightest manners. In his many years of television, he has had to deal with all kinds of crazy people. There have been aggressive ones, manipulative ones, and the worst, the minors who he can't even try to control. Any person in his position would be extremely agitated by all of this, and this could be what began his hatred for what he does. Of course, there are also other factors that have a hand at that.
That's a go directly to go kind of way of turning your child into a brat, which is exactly what happened, and the fact that she went to Dr. Phil's.
Number 6, the Backlash. Some very notable children have gained popularity from their appearance on his show, and while Dr. Phil is ready to move on with his life and sever ties between them and him, no one will let that happen. Nicolette Gray, also known as the Beverly Hills Brat, was able to manufacture an entire empire for herself on YouTube, going by the name she was called on the Dr. Phil show. Now she has millions of subscribers and only seems to be getting more and more popular. Similarly, Danielle Bergoli, the Catch Me Outside girl, has begun a very successful rap career from the fame she gained from the show. While these two ladies are thriving, Dr. Phil has to constantly deal with people attacking him for the way he treated them, and for giving those two and others like them a platform to gain prominence. I can't even imagine enjoying a job where I am insulted for trying to help people.
Oh, and did I mention that she was only 17 at the time she went on Dr. Phil? But it gets worse, because she also dropped out of high.
Number 5, it's been a while. Sadly, Dr. Phil has been hosting this show for much longer than most good talk shows last. For the past 18 years, he has been trying to carry the entire show on his back, and I think 18 years is a good time to stop. He's almost 70 now, and regular people usually retire years prior to his current age, to spend more time with family and doing what they truly enjoy. I think Dr. Phil wants the same now, since he's been trying to juggle his family and his career simultaneously with much difficulty. Unfortunately, contracts prohibit him from doing what he wants, which is a great cause for animosity.
She just assumes that they're there, which is wrong on so many levels. Dr. Phil continues.
Number 4, fame isn't what it once was. While Dr. Phil was a force to be reckoned with at one point, he no longer holds the status he did back then. Now, in numerous lists found on the internet, you can see him coming last or not being included at all, with Ellen DeGeneres, Jimmy Kimmel, Trevor Noah, and others using their connections to bring in more and more celebrity guests. They're able to keep their views high. Unfortunately, when your entire shtick is fixing messed up relationships, whether family or otherwise, you can't really do the same. It's difficult running a talk show full time, but it gets very exhausting when you're spending hours and hours of your time and tons of energy into something that isn't giving the output that you want.
Denied her and Taylor having any connection to Riley. To put the icing on the cake, Riley's own mother believes that he's lying. He has a reputation.
Number 3, repetitive. If you've seen Dr. Phil recently, you know that the kinds of people coming onto the show have all started to seem the same. There have been copycats of the Beverly Hills Brat and Danielle Bergoli, but it seems that almost everyone interested to be on the show is a stuck-up teenager. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is still the occasional unique case, but they all kind of meld together now. Repetition is boring in any sort of job, especially one where you spend hours in these people's presences. Not having fun is also a genuine excuse to hating your job.
Best moments including some big ones of Dr. Phil just putting people in their place. Do you remember seeing some of these moments when they first...
Number 2, always the bad guy. People around the world get much more sensitive when matters consist of women being treated disrespectfully, and are quick to blame the men they believe are oppressing them. The amount of hate that Dr. Phil has gotten over the course of the last few years for simply raising his voice to a bratty little girl who isn't listening or maintaining decorum is insane. Anytime he tries to help, he is immediately made an enemy, not necessarily by a patient, but by the general public who flock to his social media to leave disgruntled comments from behind the safety of their phone or computer screens. Would you want to come to work if everyone hated you for doing your job?
Which means that what we've all been doing, this social isolation,
Number 1, lawsuit stress. In 2019, Mahafa sued Dr. Phil. The woman claimed that her and her boyfriend's time on the show had been disastrous. Her boyfriend had been abused, and she found that instead of helping him, or focusing on his case even, Dr. Phil paid more attention to her mental health and disability. Apparently, he had aggressively interrogated her and had laughed along with the audience during the episode. This actually caused Mahafa to have a breakdown backstage. With all this going around and court dates and appearances being scheduled, it's surely taking a toll on Dr. Phil.
Be mad at someone like Tamara, as they're not ruining the world like some of the other kids on this list are, but rather she's a byproduct of the standards.
This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.